Guys, how's it going? It is Masterminded Guns here, and today I get to be showing you guys a very special weapon because this is a gun I've been wanting to build ever since I started building Lego guns, which was about 3 years ago, so it's definitely been a very long time. But just due to the lack of experience I had back then, I could never get this gun to work. And so I quit, and recently 2 subscribers of mine requested for me to build this gun, so I wanted to redeem myself and build it. So here it is, the Lego Kriss Vector. So something you can notice right away just by looking at the gun is how modern it looks. It kind of looks like it's off the style of an AR-15, at least in the materials used, like the ED Texite, the bolt catch, and stuff like that. It just looks modern, right? Well, actually, this gun was made in 2006, which makes this gun about 10 years old. So even though it looks very modern, it's actually pretty old. It's almost a decade old now, which just comes to a big surprise to me just because of how everything looks. Nothing seems changed from what every gun looks like nowadays, especially with its revolutionary bolt design that it has, which I'll show you here. And as you guys can see, I did make it so you can actually detach the receiver from the actual gun. That way you can see a lot of the details and stuff like that, and of course see the bolt inside. Now, this is an amazing mechanism that I wanted to show you guys. That basically is what makes a vector a vector. So here it is. Now, I tried to replicate it as best as possible, but there are a lot of pieces that you would kind of need to replicate it perfectly that you don't have in Lego. So I had to do with what Lego had to at least give the idea of what happens underneath. And honestly, I'm still pretty happy with how this turned out. It didn't come out perfectly, and of course every time I would want it to look exactly the way it does on the real gun, but it did take a while, and I still think it's better than it could have been, so I'm honestly not mad at it. But if you're more of a visual person, this picture may help you. Of course, the bolt is what chambers into around, it has the pin on it and all that stuff. The hinge is of course what carries the bolt downwards, so it has that awesome mechanism, and I really hope we all know what the spring does. If we don't, then, well, we have some problems. Now, there are some things on this gun that I had to forfeit due to the bolt design, which include the bolt catch as well as the magazine release, and just due to how much space the bolt took, I could not make either of these functions work, at least to their full capacity. I did make it so the bolt catch could reset itself, at least to give that realistic feel, but it doesn't actually release anything. Neither does the magazine release, and that does a little bit disappoint me, but just this gun is so tight and compact that really a lot of the things I wanted to do, I just kind of couldn't. And of course, as I'm showing you here, these are the holes that I used to attach the receiver to the actual gun, and just in case you're wondering why they're there. The barrel is actually big enough to fit a 45 ACP round inside, and can actually be struck by the pin that I put on the bolt, which I kind of thought was a really cool concept, because if you think about it, if it did have enough force, the pin could actually strike the primer and start a spark, which would fire the bullet. And I am talking about in my Lego gun, but really, to be honest, if any of my rubber bands were that strong, it would break all the Lego pieces, so nothing to be worried about, but I thought I'd point that out. And of course, here's the gun without the receiver, and I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like this gun looks like an Atlas 45 or something like that, but that is my opinion. I'm not sure how many people know this one either, but the Glock 21's magazine is the same as a Kriss Vector magazine. Why? Because actually all that's added to the Kriss Vector's magazine is an extender, basically a dual stack mag, so you can stack more bullets when it gets to that point. But the top part of the Kriss Vector is a Glock 21 magazine, so I thought that would be pretty cool to share. And of course, with every new gun, we get a new pair of iron sights. So here they are, and these are the default iron sights to the Kriss Vector. And I am really happy with how they turned out. Like, normally iron sights are really hard to build to make them really accurate, but these honestly I fell in love with as soon as I built them to just look really, really good on the gun. So another challenge I had to go through with this gun was its width. Like, this gun was so interesting when it came to its width. Like, when you actually see the measurements for this gun in width, it's insane how many different changes it takes. Like, the handle is 4 studs wide, the entire gun is like 5 studs wide, and there are places where it's 2 and 3 and 1, so really interesting there. So the last thing I wanted to talk about on this gun is the stock. Now, I think a lot of people take for granted how much impact the stock has on the recoil. Like, you know, the bolt affects a lot of it, and that's true, but I don't think people realize how much the stock does for the recoil. Like, it's aligned with everything, your shoulder, the trigger, and the barrel, which really causes the recoil to go straight back and also affects the gun's jump. So, the stock does reduce the amount of jump on this weapon as well. Over the years, you guys have seen my guns with added on suppressors and stuff like that, mainly because they're easy to make and they look cool, right? Well, if there is any other gun that looks cooler with the suppressor, better than this one, then honestly, I have no idea what to think. This gun is the king of the suppressor. Let's leave it at that. Well, over the past 2 months, it's been really fun to build you, edit you, and film you. And I just gotta say, it was a great experience, and I'm happy that I was able to build it. Thanks to the 2 people who requested this gun. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.